We've always said, and we all the way through this campaign, I think that Pennsylvania probably would be the state that won it for whoever won it, because it's impossible, almost impossible, without a major upset to win the White House without picking up Pennsylvania on the way. And that is certainly what it looks like Donald Trump has done. And having crisscrossed the state over the last couple of weeks, the issues that voters cared about most were the economy, the immigration situation, the open border, as Donald Trump referred to it as, and also chaos overseas. And voters were able, time and again, to sort of compartmentalize what they thought about that man who we just heard speaking there. The man, all his antics on the campaign trail, his divisiveness, they said they didn't like the man, many of them, but they liked the policymaker, and they liked what he did for America in his first 4 years, and they want that to come back, and they compare it very unfavorably to the 4 years they've had under Joe Biden. And even those who supported Kamala Harris, who said they would vote for her, a lot of them just didn't like her, and they said they were doing so because she wasn't Donald Trump primarily. She didn't have that likability that I think so many victorious candidates do need to have. It was an interesting speech, wasn't it? Because it was sort of magnanimous in victory, very inclusive. He listed the many Americans who he says have helped him win: the Latin Americans, the Hispanic Americans, the young Americans, and the Arab Americans. It wasn't the kind of divisive speech that we've heard from Donald Trump in the past. And on the campaign trail at times, his rhetoric has been pretty dark. It's been vindictive and spiteful and vengeful. He has talked about being the voters' retribution when he gets into power. He is a master of false promises, false claims, empty, hollow threats. And he's not a man you can often hold to his word. So we'll have to see what kind of presidency he will end up running, and whether he will be true to that more magnanimous rhetoric we've heard tonight, if, as seems almost certain now, he does become the president. Let's just try and have a word with people here as they listen to that speech in this crucial state, in this crucial part of this crucial state. Bucks County is the county he had to win, and it looks like he may have done well enough here to win the state. I think Bucks County will have been one of the most crucial counties to win. It's a collar county around Philadelphia, and it's certainly a state, a county he had to win to pick up the state. Let's talk to Jim Worthington, who was the organizer of this watch party tonight and is very close to Donald Trump, one of the biggest fundraisers for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Don't run a PAC, do you, Jim? But you do raise
individual
amounts of money, from the hundreds to thousands. What did you think when you heard your man there claiming victory?
I thought it was unbelievable. Like I said earlier, it was the greatest comeback in not just politics, probably in the history of the world and anything. Imagine everything he went through to get back there and become the 47th president of the United States.
Who's through your heart as you listen to that?
Well, I felt like, everybody in this room was a part of making that to happen. And that's what's great about America. You can work hard, you can get people organized and energized, and we were a big part of his victory. I mean, if you maybe heard me earlier, if you win Bucks County, you win Pennsylvania, you win the presidency. 90% of the people that win Pennsylvania win the presidency. So all along, I said back in August, I said to people, you win Pennsylvania, you're the president. And
you've worked very hard for that to happen. What do you want him to do most of all now he is looking like he's going to take the White House?
Honestly, I think a successful presidency, there's two things that I would say. Number one, for the world, it would be that we establish ourselves as a power again and get our, have respect of what we used to have under him that we lost during this last administration. I think the world is counting for him to be a strong leader, a decisive leader. We need to be strong for the world. That's number one. Number two, I think domestically, my thing that I would like is see that we really focus on not only the middle class, but the minority population and the less fortunate in inner cities. That, I believe, is when we can bring people up that are, have had generational problems with moving up, through the economic ladder. I think till we solve that problem, and that starts with things like school choice and things like that, providing better education for kids, minority kids in Philadelphia and other cities that just they don't have the opportunity to aspire and do better. So
On the campaign trail, he said, I will be your retribution. So you're painting a quite positive outlook for a Trump second presidency. I mean, that sounds quite threatening, doesn't it, to a lot of people?
No, that's not what he said. He said, my success will be my revenge, not retribution. Revenge. Success will be his revenge. So in other words, he's going to come back. He's going to have 4 great years. He's going to be successful, and he's going to say, I told you so. You should have elected me in 2020, and we wouldn't have had to go through all this bull crap that we're going through now where, the borders are 20 million people came over illegally. There's international conflicts all over all over the world. You've got food costs skyrocketing, gasoline prices skyrocketing. Average American just can't pay their bills. So
that's if, for instance, he does bring about mass deportations of immigrants, that's going to be pretty divisive, isn't it? That's going to lead to unrest, isn't it, in America? Do you want that?
There's not going to be any arrest. There's people who came illegally. In America, if you commit a crime, you're put in jail. It's hard to believe that people from other countries can break the law coming into the country and then just stay. And on top of it, by the Harris and Biden administration, get paid on top of it. Provided social programs, money, housing, and they were illegal. They came illegal. We have veterans that come back from war that are on the streets of New York City. They get no assistance, no help. Let's take care of our own. People that came here they could make. Here's what they can do. If you're illegal, you could probably start going back right now before we deport you. They have an option. They crossed illegally. They can leave legally, right? So I have no problem. I have no problem with him. Now when it comes to kids and things like that, that's a different issue, and I'm sure that will be the case. But if you're an adult and you came across the border illegally, it's time for you to go back.
Just finally, you're going to see him, I think, this week. What are you going to say? What are you going to say to him?
I'm going to congratulate him. I'm going to remind him that Bucks County was a big part of it, and I'll tell him that it was good to see him because the last time I saw him was at McDonald's.
Jim Worthington, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you. On the way in tonight, actually, I saw a poster with a picture of Donald Trump saying impeached, arrested, indicted, shot, but he still keeps coming back. And I think that is a thing to think about. This is an extraordinary comeback, as we've been saying tonight, by a man that many people had written off and seems to have an irrepressible resilience. And that's something I think that has driven all these people to believe in him. And it seems to have led to him going back to the White House in January for a second historic term in office.